Greetings, listeners. Welcome to the Web 12 podcast. My name is Raymon, and I'm here with Khepri, and we are doing our N5 New Year's Father Corvus. Let's get out of the hiatus episode.
Yeah, let's get started.
Into business. Yeah,
amazing.
N5 is here, so and we made the promise to come back when it's all out, and it's all out now. So. Yeah, Khepri, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. CB lit the beacons, and we are here.
We're here. The beacons are lit. We come back. Well, CB, I've done a lot of painting. Yeah, my living room, my attic, my bathroom.
Painting with a big brush, right?
Yeah, painting with a very big brush. I never done so much painting. Yeah, I'm in my new studio, my gaming attic. I moved to a bigger house, my own house. Kid is still on the way, so hopefully we don't end up in a second hiatus, but we will see. For now,
well, that's why we've got the whole team.
Luckily, we got the whole team.
We can cover each other.
Yeah, and we are psyched for sure. We already talked about this. That we're happy that N5 has arrived and that we can, that the profiles of every army have been updated. It's a whole new ball game. Did you get any games in, Khepri? Because I haven't yet.
Yeah, I've gotten a bunch of games in.
Yes. Well, today we're going to give our first impressions. We're going to go over our favorite rules, our favorite profiles. And what else we have to mention about the game, as we see it as of now. We've seen other content creators go plow through what has changed, and we also have our takes. But it's first impressions, so that's my hiatus. I haven't played any games yet, so it's mostly theorizing from my part. But what I see, I'm also very, very, very excited. So, where do we start? My first impressions is that it's still a chunky rule set. It's 191 pages of rules, but this time, and that's probably the first time, is that fire teams are just now really a part of the rules. Like in the last one, it was still an add-on. It wasn't there even when we started off with it. So that's for sure. And it's also a big first that we now have a book, which is not the rules, but it's just the story. My local game store owner, he was quite confused. And it's like, I'm not selling rules. I'm just selling story. Do they make money now? What's going on there?
Yeah, it is a bold move. Right. It kind of splits from what you expect a wargaming book to be, but honestly, it just makes sense, right? It's like printing rules out is just a waste of paper when you can update things online much more easily. So I mean, I'm glad they took that step.
Yeah, because to be fair, if you would take the rule book from N4 or even N3, when any FAQ came out, you're already lost. Rules would have been changed by then. So even N4 wasn't the beast that it was when it started all out. So it only makes sense. But if you are a new player and you just buy the book and like, where are the rules? Are there any rules? They said there will be very much rules, but I can't find them here. But that will be the only thing. My local game store owner was pretty much about the Tafelridder in Leiden. It was pretty much like, are people willing to pay the 65 euros that the book is? And we're like, yes.
Yeah, I think it's honestly just realizing who the market was for the book anyways, right? I don't think a lot of people, since the rules have been free online for so long, like anybody who buys the book is buying it for the lore. Like you're not buying it for the rules. So just everything that you print out as rules is wasted space. Just give us more lore, right? The same people are going to buy it.
Yeah. Well, I would wonder if it is a lower uptick, that they would make less books because from the standpoint that everyone who plays the game needs the rules, so they will buy the book. But if it's only story, then it's only for the people that love the story. I don't know what. I would be if I have the chance to ask it, I will ask it. Like, did you do a lower number, or did you go the same and sell the same? Because it's such a change from what other game stores or other game systems are doing.
Yeah, I think that's the big one, right? When I switched over to Infinity from 40K, I was like, yeah, okay, so where are the rules? I got to go buy the book, right? That's like the first thing in my mind. And everybody's like, no, you don't have to buy it. Everybody told me the same thing. No, don't buy the book. Just download the rules. I was like, no, seriously, I don't have to buy the book. No, that's just if you're interested in the lore. I was like, you know what? I kind of am interested in the lore. So, so.
The realization, yeah. Like if it's not fully properly working with yet, but if they get the wiki up, that's probably what the place where we just look up all the rules anyhow.
Yeah. I mean, I know that actually making the rules into a PDF is a lot more work than it seems. The actual layout of, making sure everything looks good on the pages and stuff. And I was like, just forget all that work and just maintain the wiki, right? It's just forget about having a rule book. Just drill into the wiki and make that something super special. That would be, I mean, maybe it's because I'm a software engineer and I love like reading wikis for documentation and stuff. But the way I think and the way that you use a wiki to reference stuff and always go back to it and stuff just seems like the right way to do the rules, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It gives them more room to make it a living rule book, as what they were planning for the last edition as well.
Well, they've said that that's their intention for this edition, right? I've heard from various sources that they've said that they intend it to be a living edition. They intend to be rules changes and profile changes, and that's kind of why they're not printing any rules anymore and stuff. So let's see. Hopefully that comes to pass.
Yeah. Well, what are your first impressions?
Well, my first time through was like, oh, I'm very excited because even though it seems like they told us quite a few times, like, oh no, this is just basically N4 with a few tweaks, right? And I was like, oh, that's great. I love N4, so I'm perfectly happy with that. And I started reading the book and I was like, oh, well, it does seem, but then suddenly you start seeing the differences. And once you jump into the profiles, you say, no, this is not N4 with a few tweaks. This is this is a big change. This is like a big sweeping edition change. I think they undersold like just how major like the changes they would do, right? The changes to just like random pieces of equipment like biometric visor, right? The most useless piece of equipment in N4, the thing that you didn't want any of your troops to have because you were scared it would pump up their pricing. And then suddenly
it's competing with the Activator, which also got a big boost.
Yeah, that's right. And maybe it turns out that the Activator is going to be the only way to deal with the turret spam that is coming our way. I mean, you never know. So yeah, that kind of thing. The deployable turrets I thought was amazing. It's kind of the idea that I've always been. I think it's an idea that's surfaced in a bunch of different spots, right? I think almost everybody had the idea of like, man, I wish I could like this little turret that we get as an ITS extra. I would love to buy it for my list, right? I think it would be useful.
It emphasizes the futuristic warfare, not just placing mines, but also placing deployables, the disco ball, to be able to put things on the battlefield and to change the battlefield to your liking, and making issues, puzzles for your opponent by locking off fire lanes with these deployables. It just makes the game more that the futuristic feel. Like I think it's amazing.
Yeah. It is very cool. I always loved the mines, right? I always thought that mines were a very cool part of Infinity, and they're very important, right? For defense.
Yeah.
They're extremely important. So it's not like an afterthought or anything. It's like a very important part of the game. And just getting an extra part there, right? These deployable turrets, and even like the regular combi turret is great for your DZ, right, for your deployment zone, but some units even get like crazy stuff, right? We get a Psychop with a Thunderbolt. We get AP marksman turrets. I think somebody has an emitter turret. I mean, things are going wild, right? There are some crazy turrets out there.
But it enhances the ARO game, and I'm all for that, because ARO is what makes Infinity special, the whole reaction thing, and now you really have to think about it and put down more stuff that are ARO defense stuff. I'm loving it.
Yeah, that was definitely a very cool change.
Yeah. Well, my main rules change that I think it's so mundane, but I think it's the best thing that ever happened to Infinity is the basic short skill, long skill, and that first to do a short skill, you have to do a basic short skill first, and it's amazing. And I will tell you why, because it's been a bit of a house rule in the Netherlands. Because if you come in as a beginning player, the amount of discussions that I have with beginning players, like, I throw smoke and then I move. So the smoke's there, right? I'm like, no, it's all simultaneous. And the whole shenanigans that you could get. So either the issue is, for me, was either you're making it for beginners a bit too hard to understand that everything is going simultaneous, and there was the opening for shenanigans by more veteran players, like the whole situation where we had like 55 FAQs because of the zone of control, and when do you do your that you could call out close combat while you weren't even in close combat, but you force your opponent to dodge and then you move into close combat. Those kind of situations that you do your action, you're shooting your close combat first before you ever do your movement, and then you get in all sorts of weird situations because the movement either comes after an ARO or other people want to respond. So you always get into issues. And now it's just clean. You do your movement first, so your opponent knows and you know where you've been, and then the kind of action, shooting, close combat that you take. It clears up a lot of stuff. It also probably, the whole FAQ mess that we had with zone of control is now, it's done with. I've already said it when at that time when we had those issues, that you should just do basic short skill first and then short skill. And now they've done it, and I'm loving them for it.
You're absolutely right. I actually, when I saw that change, I said, "Oh, that's dumb. I love it because it's so easy to forget what it's like as a new player, right?" And we've got the order expenditure sequence burned into our brain. Is like we've got like once you've played this game for a while, like all of these things are just second nature. But the truth is, there are a lot of weird interactions there, and like you've said, this baiting problem has been a problem since like way before N4, like at least N3. I know it was a huge deal with smoke and MSV and how that interacted with declaring CC and then moving into close combat and having stealth, and it's just been fact over and over and over again, and it's just a huge hole for exploits.
Every time it gets complex, they need to put rules upon FAQs just to get the shenanigans out. and if you do this, it's all gone. You don't need to.
Yeah, you're. I think you're absolutely right. It's
Yeah.
it's a lot more intuitive. It's easier to understand, and it's actually not missing any of the complexity because you can still, everything still happens all at once. You still get a lot of the richness of that experience, which I really enjoy. Like shooting at any point of the order and stuff. It's just it keeps like a lot of the dynamic stuff, but. But I think you're right. It does remove like a lot of these weird edge cases and stuff.
Yeah, it's the hassle is gone, and oh man, I'm just chef kiss. Yes.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about our favorite rules changes, I'd say like one of my most favorite rule changes by far is the way the fire teams have been changed, because. Yes, it was always, like newer players would always get, if I have 2 of these and 3 of those, do I get this bonus here, that bonus there, right? It would always be very confusing, right? Having the 2 different charts. But my biggest problem with it was that I during N4 I realized that I preferred to play vanilla armies than sectorials, because I don't like clumping together 5 guys, right? And yes, you do get like in N4, you got like very strong mechanical bonuses, right? From that, right? The Fusilier sniper or missile launcher in a pure core was a great ARO piece and really, but it just feels wrong. I don't know, for this like futuristic skirmish combat game in which you have a third of your troops hunkered down on a building and will not move during like the whole game. Yeah. It just doesn't feel good. I just really prefer having them like more spread out. And this new world of pure duos all over the place is just something that I absolutely love. Like this change for me is just like giving me like when I first heard that vanillas were going to get fire team, I was so bummed out. I was like, I don't want fire teams in my vanilla, right? I want, but when I saw what actually happened, I was like, no. Vanillas are getting fire team, but sectorials are becoming vanillas, which is, I think sectorials are going to play much more like vanillas have played until now, with like small teams and much more spread out. And I just think it's much more tactically and interesting and it's just fun. I think it's just a much more fun way to play. There are so many cool duos you can make, right? And get that special dice, which is really most of what you want. I'm just very excited by this.
Yeah, for sure. I've 2 friends in my group, and one he's already playing for years. Harlequin even went out of the hobby for a while, but came back again. Mostly because he heard that the Link teams were getting nerfed. But another friend of mine, Kim, he's new to the game. He's getting into N5 probably. He started in N4 but never had the time to really get in. Now he's coming into N5, and they both had the same realization that I truly find that if people are like, no, Link teams are nerfed, I'm like, dude. What my 2 friends say, it was already big that a unit of 5 could move on one order, could act on one order. That's already making a Link team far greater, because we are resource based. These orders, they're finite. So if you can move 5 guys on one order, that's just already insanely good. Anything else on top, the extra burst makes it insanely good. 6 cents makes it insanely good, especially the N4 version, where surprise attack didn't work. We got to a point where everyone should bring. If you could bring a Link team, you should bring a Link team, because how else do you want to compete with the other Link teams? So that it's finally nerfed. And I'm saying finally, is of great importance, because now, especially since now vanillas do not have all the profiles that sectorials have. Everything has been slimmed down, which is also a very nice feature, by the way, but we can talk about it later. it's now a meaningful decision. I can see myself playing a sectorial and not going for a fire team, because maybe an extra burst doesn't or an extra ballistic skill doesn't help me that much. It's a nice feature to have, but to have 5 guys in the corner just to have all the tricks that I want is maybe not that necessary if I got other units that I want to have far movable or spread out or anything. So I think by bringing down the link team, which is already pretty strong, like my friends say, moving 5 guys on one order is just, it's already much, but it's a lot, people. It's already a lot. So these duos are probably pretty strong because they're going on one order with 2 guys. So I think it's still strong, but it's not like a must-have like it was in the past. And it opens up the game to far more options, to far more play styles where people just go with a Haris and not go with a core, or keep it at duos and not go any farther because they're already getting out of it what they want to get out of it, which is in my mind very solid.
Yeah, most of the lists I've written, even when I'm in sectorials, have been just basically duos, maybe the odd Harris in there, and it just feels great. It feels great. I played a couple of games with White Banner, which is an army that was already good, and I think has gotten even better. And I played Yamao. I played a Yamao duo, a Killer Hacker and a Spitfire, and let me tell you, they were fantastic. And that's the kind of troop that never got taken because they're way too expensive to run 3. And, running 2 is a bit expensive, but they're extremely good, right? And the shotgun change, right? We do have to talk about the shotgun change, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's use this little. Why did I decide that I could risk taking Yamaos, like one wound guys, but that have mimetism and a visor, right? They've got the whole package, right? They've got a mim MSV1 and a mim 3 and decent weapons and stuff, and they're a bit pricey and they're only 1 wound. But the big reason you can take them now is because there just are not that many direct templates out in the world anymore, right? The shotguns got their templates completely removed, and boom, what a change, right?
Yeah, that's also for me, one of the favorite rules changes is that taking away, because it's mostly N4 made some weapons just too good, and to a point where you were going with them. The shotguns that the middle game, anything in the midfield changed into who templates the other one to dead first, and any expensive unit that goes forward will probably be shotgunned or templated by anything cheaper, your opponent will make that sacrifice because they're taking out the Yamal with, I don't know, something with a shotgun, which is 8 points and has fishy legs. So now you will take that risk. So and it's good that I've not played the game yet, but it's good to hear that those combinations are possible, and it's now you now have a reason to take a unit that only has a combi rifle and go up the field because it has a chance now because it will not be blasted at first notice.
Yeah, mimetism is much more valuable, right? Because I've heard time and time again about taking these expensive infiltrating pieces like the Krokman, right? They're Mim 6 and but they're so pricey, and you just put a template on them and they have bad fizz and they just die. And it's not that simple anymore to get rid of a high mimetism piece, right? Even at short range, blasting away against them, that mimetism helps a bunch to keep them alive. Yeah. So I mean, it's a big change. It's a big change. It's a big change for sure. There still are templates in the game, right? Like warbands have them and stuff like that. But I think the quantity of it is significant. Also, the fact that these direct templates don't get extra burst from fire teams, I think also is noticeably is a noticeably big change, because again, it's not only getting a template on you and then having a 50-50 of saving the template with your armor roll. It's like, no, you're getting 2 or 3 templates put on you and you're dead, right? You're 100% dead, and that's changed.
You have to take 3-4 armor saves just to get the template. So
the change it's been a huge change. It's been a huge change, I'd say.
Yeah, you could go from a standpoint, they nerfed this or that, and I'm like, no, these things were already a bit too crooked. They were already, just dominating the meta to a point where other weapons are just obsolete, and all interactions in the midfield, anything within 10 or 8 inches is just should you dodge or should you fire, and while you fire, you will probably die from the blast that you're getting in. It changed. It changed my Ariana game. Yeah, I've already said it in my retrospective, to a point where I'm not risking all those camo units halfway the field. Now I will do that again, and I'm getting my old Ariana back, which is a weird thing to say to people, because I'm already. Yeah, you already said it before we started, Khepri. That Ariana has got nerfed to a point where we don't know where it stands. But I'm like, nerf those things. Do it. I'm tough enough. I can go back to the Foxtrots and the Chasseurs and have my camo game again. I don't need a bear. I don't need,
you can
ridiculous.
Take it.
Yeah, I can take it. I can do this.
Yeah.
Come fight me in the forest. You will die.
That is rough. I mean, my heart goes out to you and all other Ariadne players out there, because again, I'm not an Ariadne player myself, so I don't know. But I mean, at a first glance, it's hard for me to see, where you're gonna innovate, what are you gonna come up with, what are your strategies gonna be. So let's see.
I'm going to the good old ways of putting camos in infiltration. I'm back, baby. I'm just gonna activate N2 and N3 and cabaret and just kill people with guerrilla tactics. I'm all for this. We were spoiled by the bear. We lost our old ways. But any veteran will tell you there are ways to fight. We will come on top. We don't have to be Pano or Yujing. We're going to the good old days of camouflage and
and grit.
And grit, grit, spit, and camouflage. We can do this.
So I think it's impossible to talk about the changes. Even if I'm not going to say this is one of my favorite rule changes, but I think it's something that we have to mention, right? I mean, I think we have to mention the changes to super jump.
Yeah, but to movement as a whole, I think moving up buildings as a whole, because what surprised me was that we're measuring from the feet again. We're measuring from the low point of the silhouette again.
I think that's wonderful, because it's number one, it was very weird that a unit could climb up in one order, but then would take like 2 orders to go down because of the way, you can measure from the top of the silhouette first, but then this. So I think that there's a lot of simplification in a good way going on with the rules there, in which giving units a larger climb, a standard climb for 6 inches or whatever. Like, I think that's a great idea, and keeping it consistent with the measurement from the feet. I also like how they made it consistent, in which you have to use climb to climb and you have to use jump to jump, right? There's no more of this shenanigans of super climbing plus now means that you treat this as movement. So then it's, it brought a bunch of other issues in. I am sorry to lose, even though, I know this is the kind of thing we should have lost, but I am sorry to lose the whole gutsing down a wall, right? Just being able to ARO on a roof and then just failing guts and then climbing on the wall. I kind of do miss that because it seems very flavorful and stuff, but I understand, it does bring a ton of weird interactions into the game, which I'm fine with. Like I'm glad. But the thing they didn't manage to fix, right? They did manage to make the climbing and the jumping rules much more standard and easier to understand. But what they didn't manage to fix was that, well, now people can just jump in a straight line forwards and move really, really fast.
Yeah.
So
my take on this is that they decided, all right, we're gonna measure from the feet again, like you said, to make things simple. But we will see that some units would lose their, because the issue beforehand was that if you were like a 4-inch movement, but super jumper, you could not jump onto a building.
Yeah.
So that's why they started measuring from the top, so you could jump onto a building. But then tags with super jump were just really fast at some point and just going over everything with ease. So they had to tweak it down. But now they were like, well, let's give the super jumper 6 then, so they could make that jump onto a building. But like you said, the backlash is now, why would you use your movement if you could jump everywhere?
Yeah, now we get units. That's the second reason I took the Yamao, right? They get super jump. So yeah, they bunny hopped all over the place. They would short jump 6 inches and then short jump another 6 inches, and they'd move 12 inches in one order. A unit that is 4/4, right, which would normally move 8. So that made them extremely fast, right? And it was a joy to play. I'm not going to say no, but yeah, then you get the Seraph on the other hand, right, which is jumping 8 inches, and you start to feel a bit like, oh my God, maybe this is getting a bit out of hand. Maybe they're moving a little bit too fast.
Yeah, these super jumpers will be the new Alpha Strike. It's just.
Yeah, I told this to a friend of mine. I said, listen, go through your army, look for any troops that have super jump, and they're probably viable now, right? It's just because of their speed, because it's just speed is so valuable in Infinity, and just having something move so fast just pumps their value way up. Like look at the Yuan-Yuans that JSA got, right? You've got a warband with a chain rifle and smoke grenades that can move 12 inches. That's great, right? That seems good.
It's insane. Man, it's if you do not put AROs out, man, you're just getting overrun, like overjumped.
That's 100%. Yeah. I was thinking that it does seem that AROs, your first impression is that AROs are a bit weaker in this edition and stuff, but on the other hand,
when you are a link team, yes. But
yes, your linked arrows are a bit weaker, but then you do get a bunch of duos, and you get the turrets, and you get the mines. So it's like you get other things to maybe help with your ARO game. So it's interesting. I haven't found it to be extremely weak in the games I've been playing. Right, I found AROs to still be effective. And I found them to be very important, right? Because if not, you're going to have a super jumping guy in your DZ in 2 orders.
Like maybe in N4 it was you had to go high tactic, but if things go 12 inches on order, there's no hiding anymore. You have to confront those guys, because at least when they're jumping, they're not getting the cover bonuses.
Yeah, you got to shoot them down like a bird.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at it and like, oh right, these games are now turning really anime.
Oh yeah, that's right. These are like ninja jumps all over the place.
This is getting ahead of themselves.
So what other rules do you have on your favorite rules list?
Martial arts.
Oh yeah, that one's huge.
Yeah, I'm showing my age here, but I've started in N2 when Oniwabans were CC 19, and if you rolled a 20, you missed. Close combat sucked. Ass. And now it's creeping closer and closer to a viable. I think now it's very, very viable. Even like in the last edition, it was viable for a few kings of close combat who were like so good in close combat, like the Uberfile commandos, just being able to just jump with these 2-point side pieces for peripherals and just hack someone to death, or where you have Berserk and go up to almost 30, and then anything above a 10 or a 16 with some units were just crits all over. But now with just every martial arts going up and up, giving you a half dice, then a full dice, then full and a half dice, and with Natural Born Warrior only taking away the negatives, it's far more viable to go into close combat now.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think, like you said, like close combat was viable. Yeah, it was
one dice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was good in N4. I like how it was in N4, but it did have these issues, right? In which like tough berserking troops would just not care about your martial arts. A bear would just berserk and kill, your expensive one wound martial artist.
Yeah.
So like berserk was all over the place, and it would just ignore everything to do with with your skill and your martial arts. Then we had the other issue of Natural Born Warrior, which just felt really bad, right? I mean, I used the Yujing Beast Hunter a ton because he had like this burst 2 explosive combat weapon, which was just insane. But now it's martial arts is, you have a level in martial arts and it means something, right? Every level means something. You get up to 3 and you are going to just completely destroy anything underneath 3. And it's just it's very interesting how it is, like the Berserk now still being a face-to-face, and like the nerf to Natural Born Warrior, in which it only works to avoid negative modifiers to you, just means that these peak martial artists are suddenly like extremely good.
Yeah, before that you get a bit of a bump in physique. Well, nice. Sometimes you have a weapon like monofilament where it doesn't matter that you get a bump up in physique. So, but this matters. Yeah, level 1 is already a -3 to your opponent. Level 2 is a +3, and then from 3, 4, 5 you get extra dice, which turns it not into a crapshoot. Like you have your, and even how it's counted now. That anything that goes above 20 is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again. Not only is it simpler, but it makes sure that you will have a result that hits. And if your opponent is not a very good close combat dude, those chances became slimmer.
Yeah, the new way to work out crits when the success value is over 20 is actually, it's mathematically the same, but it just feels so much better. It's number one, it's very easy. It's much easier to calculate, right? And then it always feels much better because when you roll that 1 or 2 before, you'd always feel bad, and now it's a crit, right? It just helps. It just feels better. You either roll high or you get a crit, so it feels better.
If you roll a 1 in the close combat, mostly it was like, well, I can add 6 up to, so it's a 7. So anything, if my opponent rolls 8 or higher, between 8 and 14, he hits me. Now it's like, I roll a 1. Yes, it's a crit.
Yeah, it's just easier to not have to do that math, right? To just roll the 7 and that's my 7. Roll a 6, well, that's a crit.
Yeah.
No, the martial arts is a big change and is a fun change. Yeah, I like that a lot. I love also, other changes I like to, I mentioned before biometric visor, but that's not the only one. Like albedo got a huge glow up, right? For these maligned pieces of equipment that were not used. And I think that albedo is going to be great, right? You're going to want somebody in your army with albedo if you have access to that, because it just gives you another tool. I just think it's interesting to have, right? It's not suddenly. I don't think it makes it like a must-have, but it is something that you can consider.
Those moments where you get those super MSV snipers and you're like, no, you're getting a -6.
Yeah, it's rough, right? Yeah. Suddenly MSV is not just a pure positive anymore.
Yeah. There are tricks against it.
Yeah. What about the changes to baggage? I mean, I think as an Ariadnan with all those disposables, you're going to like that one, right?
To be able to do it in ARO?
Be able to do an ARO and have it done automatically at the end in the states phase. Yeah. I mean, I think that's huge.
Yeah. I think it's also a good thing, because it was one of those rules that's fun to have, but you had to really like play for it. And now some of the Evo bots have baggage. It's now nice to have an Evo bot in your deployment zone near your. You can make a field of fire and have guys go, I'm gonna reload again.
Yeah, I played my regular opponent Morph played. I played against him using assassins, and he had a nadir in his deployment zone, arrowing with Panzerfaust or Flammenspears. I forget which right now. I think it was Flammenspears.
Yeah.
In the zone of control of his baggage bot, and that damn thing was super annoying with Mim -6 and just managing to put out Flammenspears turn after turn after turn without him spending any orders on that, right? It was very interesting. It's not just fire those two off and forget about it. He suddenly became like a kind of a semi-viable ARO piece.
Yeah. ARO is getting a glow up. I'm very happy for it. There are reasons to do it now.
Yeah, the whole. The special dice not wasting your disposable charges, and that together with baggage suddenly makes AROing with disposable weapons like much more interesting, right?
Yeah. The special dice. It's just I'm so happy it's here. It makes so much not that overbearing. They get a half measure to give you a boost, give you an extra dice. But just with something, how many times I have fought a missile launcher riot girl, or and then you get hit by 2 bursts missiles, and then you have 6 safe, so you're probably dead. Now, if they hit on 2 dice, at least it's 1, so at least it's just 1 missile, so it's 3. It's still. You can still die, but at least if you attack, you have a chance if you roll good on at least 1 dice that you not lose a tag, because you flub the dice roll against a missile launcher that has been in a link team.
Yeah, it's basically a little bit of a toughness increase to everything in the game, right? Because a lot of your attack and defense pieces used to be linked, and they got a whole burst, and now they're still just as likely to win the face-to-face, but like you said, like the actual damage that they pump through is less, which makes you tougher.
And like we said with martial arts, with martial arts level 3, it raises up your unit at least. You got 2 dice to roll, and if you roll 2 successes, you only get 1 success, but at least you get if you flub your roll, at least now with martial arts you could at least have another roll that might as well be a hit. So I'm happy they found this in between measure that boosts the martial arts and lowers the link teams a bit.
Yeah, it is an interesting.
Kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Yeah,
an interesting mechanic to play around with. I mean, I'm glad they settled on it. I think it's a good mechanic and an interesting one to use. Right, the whole roll the die but don't keep it is good.
And how we do damage now.
Oh,
how we do our armor
great.
saves.
Yeah. I actually thought it would take me much longer to get used to it. I mean, I still calculate the damage of everything by saying, okay, it's HMG is damage 15, so 20 minus 15 is 5. So I still calculate everything's PS that way, but I gotten used to rolling under surprisingly quickly. I think it only took me one game. In the second game, I was already used to just always, you know, rolling under the target number. And also the armor calculations are much easier because you're only adding. So it's like, okay, so it's 5 plus 3 for cover plus 3 for armor, and you've got the number, right? You just roll that or under. It's much quicker. It's much easier to calculate. So I think that is a fantastic change too. I really like that one.
Yeah, because it was always this damage 15 minus the armor and then the cover, and then but you have to do +1 because that's actually the result that would save you.
You're right, yeah. And then the whole issue of rolling, you know, being used to wanting to roll under, and then on armor you want to roll over. It just feels wrong.
But it was based on a bit of dice folklore. Like if you're already rolling high and you're losing your gunfights, at least when you go and roll your armor, when you roll high, you at least have a chance to.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, people would say that all the time. Well, at least I'm going to get good saves now, right?
It's just this myth we were telling ourselves, like, I'm rolling high now, so probably my armor saves will save me. But mostly it came down to I had to dodge. All right, I rolled too high. Now I have to make my armor save. I rolled too low. Damn it! If I rolled low on this dodge roll, I wouldn't have been dead. And now that
was a great change. I think it makes everything much more coherent. There were a lot of changes like that, right? That try to make the rule set more coherent and stuff. But I think a lot of people were expecting them to simplify the rules because of what they said, but I don't think they were actually trying to simplify anything at all. Like make it more consistent. Yes, make it more easier to understand. Like some of the weird edge cases and interactions, like what we went over with the move. You have to move first, right, to remove a large part of the baiting game from the game. But I don't think they're dumbing down the game at all, actually. You know.
Yeah. Maybe for us older players, no, but for the long term and the newer players, yes, they simplified it just by making it more intuitive.
Yeah, you're right. They did make it easier to learn in the rule side, and cutting a lot of profiles from the vanilla armies and stuff. I think also
that was
brings a little bit of the cognitive load of trying to remember hundreds of weird profiles with extremely weird names. Right. So yeah. I hope it does get easier for the newer players to get in. I remember, learning Infinity was kind of like a challenge, one that I enjoyed, but it was definitely challenging, right?
Yeah, for sure. Just trying to get someone into the game, and either should they start vanilla or sectorial. It was always the big hubbub, but if you start sectorial, you have to learn about link teams, because link teams is the main feature of a sectorial. And now that they trimmed the fat a bit, you can start with an army that you like. I think we're back at that point. If it's vanilla, it's vanilla, and if it's a sectorial, well, you're getting your link teams, but they're not all that. They will still be a feature, but in vanilla you're going to get your duo. So. I think it's too early to call to how it all will pan out. Like we can look at profiles and see them as did they get better or did they get nerfed. But I think as a game as a whole, it still has to prove itself to a certain degree, because if. Yeah, like take my take the profile of the bear. Like the bear got nerfed. That's true. He truly did. Because how total immunity works now. That's a broader nerf. Like we had total immunity total has been thrown a bit to the wayside, and now it's only for a bear it's immunity arm. So only anything that would cover armor he's immune against. So you're still not being you still not have to take 3 saves from a missile, which I think still is pretty huge. But you can now be flash pulsed, which is a big change because mostly, if you had a defensive line with flash pulses, the bear would just shrug them off, unless he was trying to roll smoke, and then you could at least flash pulse, so you could maybe out-result his smoke result. But that's the only reason you would flash pulse a bear, because it wasn't doing much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is a big change. That even I like that immunity just doesn't automatically give you immunity to non-lethal. Glue now works against everybody. It works against both people who are immune to ARM and immune to BTS, because it doesn't target any of those. It targets Fizz. So glue will always work, which is very cool and kind of like what it seems like glue should be. Like, I don't care how tough you are. Like, if I glue you to the ground, you're not going to be able to move, right, until you break free. So, I think those changes have been really good, right? Do I think they should have given immunity arm to Norkius? No, I do not, right? But apart from that, I'm very happy with the immunity changes.
Man, there's a game. Robert Shepard on the internet now. If you look at Rob Shepard.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
On the things that Corvus Belli missed, Proteon is also on my list. Because next to surprise attack just not working in ARO, I'm waiting for N6 now, and when we can surprise attack in ARO. But Proteon, that you could get a wound from eating an unconscious model, so you get 2 wounds from 1 unit. Still, why? Can there be a maximum? 1 unit just gives you 1 wound back, and I don't know.
Or even how it was back in some of the earlier editions, right? Where Protheon was its own weapon. So okay, if you want to use your fancy MCC weapon, great. But if you want to actually suck the life out of somebody, then it's a different profile, right? It's a weaker it's a weaker weapon or something like that. I don't know. So is there any other rules you want to talk about, or should we move on to the profiles?
Well, it's just a rule that the funny named rules. It's just I'm so happy that they're here. The disco ball, like I'm just turning my battlefield into a party. I just want to throw out the disco ball just to put on disco music and just go Earth, Wind, and Fire on your asses. I'm so a speedball, like, we're going to drop some drugs here in the field. Like we're going to use some cocaine and be.
I think my favorite is Warhorse. I just
Warhorse. Yes, Warhorse.
That is such a hilariously bad name for the veteran rule. It's just why.
And now I have to pick up my veteran Kazakh and let someone 3D print me a horse and put my Kazakh on a horse.
Yes, your veteran Kazakh is now a warhorse.
Yes. Or just I want helmets shaped in the like a horse face, and just put them on any unit. Yeah, he's Warhorse now.
Oh my god.
He likes carrots. He's just give him a sugar cube and he will perform.
Yeah. Pretty wild. I'm
so for that. Yeah.
I do like disco ball though. I think that's just hilarious in the right way, right? You can tell it was placed there as on purpose. Like, yes, we know what it is. We know you're gonna make your little disco ball tokens and paint them up with reflective paint or something, right? It's just the way it has to go.
And I'm forgetting the name. The little smoke bomb that you can use as a dodge. Oh man.
The bang bomb.
Bang bomb. Yes, we got bang bombs. Like the whole idea of poof mystery. Like.
Yeah, it's just really the ninja dodge, right? Just throw some smoke at your feet and move away.
It could be just a +3 dodge. It could have been that, but no,
it could have been
the name.
But I think
flavor.
I think they wanted to hand it out more. This is my personal theory, right? I have nothing to back this up. I have a feeling that they wanted to hand it out much extremely. They wanted to hand out bang bombs more liberally to units that wanted to live in the midfield but were fragile.
Yeah,
like my aforementioned Yamao. And it did come in very useful, right? They suddenly dodging on something like 16s with mimetism, turns out to be great. But they didn't want the warbands with chain rifles and stuff to lose effectiveness. So that's my theory, right? They wanted to be able to give it out without worrying that warband chain rifles would suddenly be useless.
That the dodge was way too high, but now you cannot modify the template that comes in.
Right, and also mines, right? They also keep mines.
Yeah. So that's why they don't want to make it a blanket just +3.
Yeah, because the Liberto, one of the horrible things about it, right, was that he would just destroy your defenses, right? Because he would walk in and just dodge that mine because that's what he'd do. Dodging on 16s, he would manage to clear the mine, and if not, well, whatever, you've got Dogged and Shock Immune, so try again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's smarter move. It not only is it flavorful, but it also has a mechanical reason just not to end up with people just having insane physics and just like Liberto just running into your minefield, and all of a sudden the whole defense that you've built up have been wrecked by one little fishman who's still alive.
Right, so talking about the fishman, so what are your favorite profiles? Like, well, let's go over the profiles that we like, things that we love, either new ones or ones that have been changed, things that we like in this edition.
I was worried for my old friend, the veteran Kazakh, because when they said, well, we're gonna break up Combat Instinct and Sixth Sense, because Sixth Sense will be that will be two separate rules, and veteran Kazakh has been when I started out, he had Sixth Sense level 2. He was the one with the sixth before anyone had the Sixth Sense and could face up against anyone. He was the guy who could do so before Link Teams got it, before Link Teams, and when Link Teams got Sixth Sense, and so forth and so forth. But he kept all his old skills, and he became a warhorse. So he's my favorite profile from you're still doing great, buddy. It's still mighty fine to bring an AP machine gun guy for 44 points with all the special skills that he has. He's one of the old one, but still a good one. And since they brought the Unknown Ranger a bit down, like a little bit, not much, still technical awareness, still mimetisms, but his martial arts now a bit lowered, so he only gives a -3 out. But he has also got the Natural Born Warrior, which is a bit weaker. Before that, you could take the Unknown Ranger all the time. Now it's still nice to look at the next big heavy dude in line, and which is the veteran Kazakh, and still have a viable unit.
I'd love I think one of my favorite unit. I'm going to cheat a little bit, right? I'm going to say all combat jumping troops, right? Parachuters, combat jumpers, because they got a huge price cut and they all got super jump. And I just think that that is like such an amazing combination. Like if I had to single one out, I'll probably say the Crusader Brethren, because they were just a joke, right? I don't think anybody ever used a Crusader Brethren. They were just so bad, extremely expensive, fragile. They could not kill anything either in CC or shooting. They were just terrible. And now you can take them. It's not a meme anymore, right? You've got, they come in as a parachutist or as a combat jumper. Then you can move 6 inches as a super jumper. The one profile has a disco ball. They've got good martial arts suddenly. They've got martial arts too and stuff. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that they're definitely an interesting profile. But yeah, just in general, like I think combat jumpers and parachutists have gotten a huge glow up this edition.
Yeah, but. I want to talk a bit about the limited insertion, the issue that has come up, because it now says that if you have 10 orders, you cannot take away, you can just use a command token to take a stripper off 2 orders. But people are like, yeah, but you have the army list, and if you have in your army list your combat jumpers or your hidden units, do they count up towards these 10 orders? Because they're not, as of yet, 10 orders on the field. At the start of the game, they're in reserve, so you will not count their orders up with the rest. And I'm like, I'm fine with that. Maybe we should. Maybe it would. I think it's fun if you have like limited, but you still have your hidden stuff. You in secret have your 11th or 12th unit in reserve or hidden or being a combat jumper, because most of the time when these guys arrive, or girls or anything in between, they have to use their own order anyway to come up. So it's a bit of a bonus to them secretly, that you can make a list of 10 orders and still bring in all your combat jumpers. You're already spending orders just to jump in, and now you're not stripped of your 2 orders, so you can use them on these combat jumpers. I think that's a secret glow up, but there's a bit of an issue of how this rules really works. So maybe FAQ would clear it up. But I would say, yeah, I'm how I explain it. I would like it that way, just to promote a bit taking hidden units and taking combat jumpers, because that's also very flavorful for the game to have these special units coming on a later moment.
Yeah, and that's kind of unique in Infinity, right? The whole hidden information part of the game is very fun and very flavorful, and I think one of my favorite parts. Yeah, it's great. And I, like you said, I don't think that would be I don't think it would be broken or anything at all just to have them not count, because at the moment the whole limited insertion protection is so limited, right? Because instead of doing it like they did last time, which was a combat group, they're doing it by orders, and it's almost impossible to only have 10 orders in your list, right? Because you're going to have tactical awareness. Lieutenant orders don't count, right? So at least that, right? Lieutenant orders don't also count. But yeah, impetuous does count, so it's going to be very hard.
Yeah,
it's very hard. You're going to get stripped, right? It's it's going to be much better to just play to have like your 15 troops and your large order count than try to get something at that 10 order limit. I think they should have been a little bit more generous with that, and allowing you to not count hidden deployment and parachutists in that order count. I think is, probably like one of the ways they could be a little bit more generous with that limited insertion protection.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, it is far easier to go just for the max 15. But if you can go hard on it, I would see, man, these JSA armies with all those hidden stuff. Well, you're bringing your tactical awareness, you're bringing your tag. You're like, I've got like 7 dudes on the field, but the rest is all hidden. Some lists can get nuts. if you go hard, if you play hard into it. Yeah. And just having like a sea of para commandos in Ariana, just having all these very cheap parachutists just ready, while the rest of the list is just 10. It's easy way to get the Mirage team, some Pyro Commandos, maybe a Spetsnaz. Have them all in your other group, and then have 10 very cheaply units on the battlefield, and then just jump on. Might be fun.
Yeah. So, what other units do you like? What other profiles stand up as your favorite profiles here?
Like I said, the bear. I'm happy they nerfed him. He was so it was out of control that you could just take 2 bears, and that was the way to go if you want to go with the competitive Ariadna list. And just having I'm happy with a nerf, and I think this game should be about finding other solutions to deal with issues, and not have like these big, like, guided being such a thing, and total immunity being such a thing that you could rush your bear up, and if you were able to, the game was lost for your opponent because you were slaughtering them. And now that they have no cover, just breaking up impetuous and cover from in the rule set makes it far easier to make units not that overbearing like the bear was.
Yeah. You could say he was the bugbear of the N4, right? Yeah, he was. Yeah, the bear got a lot of hate. I think probably very justified, right? As something, it was hard to stop if you didn't know what you had to do against him, right? And even if you did, he was hard to stop. But particularly for newer players, it could seem kind of unfair, I guess. Yeah,
and I still think it's a very solid unit. Just by its strength in CC, its ability to berserk, and just rush a unit with 10. If it can see it can rush a unit with 10 inches, still a lot of territory to traverse in just one go, and still be able to hit you with a trench hammer. It makes it still a very, very solid unit. 2 wounds dogged is still very strong. He will still have an issue of him just tanking units, even no cover with armor 4, and him getting a BTS. So even if you now are able to flash pulse him, he has some defenses against it. He has more defense against viral than he had before. So it's still a very solid unit, but not that overbearing.
Yeah. Viral got a big nerf, right? Only working on vitality miniatures, not working on structure miniatures anymore. That's a big change.
But also flavorful changes, but also making the game more of a puzzle.
It does seem, a little bit more of a puzzle. It's a very good ammo type against Vita, but suddenly terrible against other units. So it's like it is like part of a puzzle again. Like what happened with MSV, right? It's suddenly not good in every single situation. It's got some counters. It's got some points where it might be a disadvantage.
Yeah, and especially if you see the game from we especially since we are locked in with IGL, we see the game a lot from the competitive side of the game. But most players, you out there listening, have a game maybe once a month, every 2 months, maybe. Go to a tournament sometimes, not go to all the tournaments like the high elo guys that we know and love. And then I think on that level, I think also Corvus Belli realized that that's the level of people that you want to get into the game, and not be like, well, if you go this game, you have to go hard. You have to know that guided is strong, that blasts are strong, that any of the if you want to have a chance, like there was a balance between all the armies. All the armies had the same amount of chances to win. but there were still units there that there were mistakes. And I think now with how they changed the profiles, making little profiles more and taking out the bad stuff, I think they have made the right tweaks to make it even an interesting game for anyone who comes into the game. Found a few units that they liked, made it kind of balanced for what they know about the game, and still have an interesting puzzle when they head out, and not be forced into, if you want to have a chance to make these kind of competitive lists, or else you have no chance.
Yeah,
that's why I enjoy the nerfs.
Yeah, yeah. We're in interesting times right now, right? This is where you can bring anything and see what works. I'd say all of our listeners should enjoy it. Should go out and grab some games, as many as you can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because we are at the fresh. I'm looking forward to the first tournament that I'm organizing, where, oh man, I have to probably know all the rules by heart by then. Oh. But it's everyone's going in fresh, like the veteran players, like saying they have a certain rule that they can use, and it's like, that's N4, or in case of my best friend Wiggs, that's N2. Stop it. And other people having a chance, like, oh, I've looked at this profile. This unit got a glow up. I'm gonna use it now. Let's see how it does on the tournament. I'm so looking forward to those moments. Yeah,
I was wondering. I'm also thinking other things that we didn't mention, right? Are the new weapons, right? We've got the Thunderbolt and the E-meter, right, which are HMG range bands, actually Feuerback range bands, because they have 0 range over their 32 inches, and Burst 2 and 0 SWC, which brings us like the Thunderbolt TR butt, which is an interesting piece of kit, right? For 0
long
SWC.
Range without the SWC. The only thing being that its burst is lower. But
yeah, it's like you sacrifice 1 burst for better range bands and 0 SWC. I think that's a good trade-off, right? I think that not spending SWC on your defensive pieces is a good choice.
Yeah, it's still it will throw a bit of the current. For me, I will probably what's the Thunderbolt again? Oh no! Oh shit! It's probably some kind of new Spitfire. Oh no, it's just a very good long range weapon with solid stats. Just being lower in burst, but are there any Thunderbolts that go into a Link team? That's still.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of Thunderbolts that go into Link team. Like I know is it the Kaisotsu that has a Thunderbolt with BS -3 and can link or something like that? There are some interesting profiles with Thunderbolts all over the place. So you should definitely keep a lookout for those, and for emitters, which I think are maybe have been talked less about, but they have the same range bands as a Thunderbolt. They're also burst 2, but they're EM ammo. So like if your opponent leaves a tag out, you're gonna brick them, right?
The E-meter was there. The E-meter has been with us for a while now, but it was the amount of times that I've seen an E-meter being used is like 2 times, I believe.
Yeah, because their range bands used to be terrible, right? I think they used to be.
And burst 1.
Yeah, burst 1, and only had positive range bands in like a rifle range band, right? Only in the 8 to 16 inch range. So I think it's very cool to have like a long range EM weapon with decent burst. I mean, that's scary. That's scary for anything that's HI or a tag.
Because I've seen it only be used once with success, and that was from Varuna, the parachutist, who had an E-emitter coming on from the back of a tag and then shooting the tag in the back with the emitter, so he could brick it. But it's the only time I saw only one of 2 times that I saw an emitter and it working. This, however, man, this is scary.
EM ammo in general, I think, is more widely available. Right? It's extremely dangerous, and it's like much more widely available because now, emitters have been sprinkled around, and they're long-range EM ammo, something that we've never really had before. You've got the EM carbines also on some units, which are like short-ranged, but again, like still more EM ammo sprinkled around. So yeah, I think it's pretty scary.
EM carbine is the old EM emitter, but with burst 2, and the EM emitter is now a long-range weapon.
That's right. Scary stuff if you like your tags, right? They're going to be bricked. I think you have to expect more EM weapons just all around the place.
Tags got better, but they can all be bricked more.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So what do you think? Is there anything else you want to cover? Should we leave it here?
I think we should leave it here because I'm at the point that I still rightfully have to discover more stuff about Infinity just by playing games. Because I've set out, let's bring out 3 favorite profiles, and then I'm looking at the profiles. I'm like, I know a lot of has changed, but what can I say about this profile that is worthy? Because all the profiles have changed, so it's all very different now. You cannot. I don't know if I'm going on the. I probably will make the mistake that I go on the battlefield. It's like, oh yeah, that unit. I know that unit. Yeah, that's not a very scary unit. And then all of a sudden, he breaks out this E emitter, and then like, oh
no! Yeah, we're gonna make that mistake really time and time again. Just heads up, Miranda Ashcroft is like min -6 and has an emitter with +1 burst. So just fair warning.
How fun you brought that. I will kill her with my shotgun. Oh no, it has no blast anymore. I'm dead now.
Yeah. Oh man, well, it's been fun to speak some more and be back on. I mean, let's get this party started.
Yeah, and listeners, if you were this is the first time that we are actually in the same podcast episode, Khepri and I. So this is the first.
It is. I'm very excited. It's not going to be the last one. We will be in another podcast together.
Yeah, officially the hiatus is over. So if you played yourself to madness with some faction, just please hook us up and tell us your experience, because we need new guests again, an old guest coming new into the N5 to talk about all these factions, because now we reset the clock. We're gonna cover every faction again, every sectorial. We have to go down the list again because so much has changed, and our impressions are good, and we're gonna dive deep on this podcast. So by the end of next year, we probably have more of a view. We had more games. We have talked about different factions. So we have seen different all of the tournaments that have come along, because IGL is already on the horizon soon to do the satellite. So I'm looking forward to how the meta will it's all fresh, it's all new. So how will it progress? My bets are it's better than before.
All right. So are you going to sign off?
Yes, let's sign off. So Khepri, thanks for joining me on this first one, and let it be more in the future. And listeners, thanks all for listening, and we see you all next time.